Hey guys, welcome back to Global League Review. This is the 1400s match. Here we have, actually, again with the 1400s match, also on Lacrimosa. This time it's Starflash 250 versus Jokos. So to give you background on these two players, so Starflash, pretty new-ish. I mean, like, been playing about a year or so since the big reboot announcement, and plays very fast, like intuitive player for sure. Performs super well live, and definitely like consistently in the 13 to 1400s. Just like a real mainstay player, plays a ton of games. Whereas Jokos, on the other hand, has been playing since as long as I've been playing or longer. Um, and so since 2017 or longer. And actually, maybe he joined. I don't know. But he's been around for a while. Definitely more like the slow, patient thinking type when it comes to play. He he's made a lot of like really cool strategy guides, which like show the amount of like detail that he goes into when he thinks about when to attack, when to defend, when to interrupt properties. You know, just like he's thought through a lot of these things very carefully, and it definitely shows in his play. Like he only goes maybe one game at a time and takes a lot of care with it. So it'll be interesting to see how the two clash, how the two styles clash. So Lacrimosa again is kind of a unique map. In that it's high funds, no airport, also mixed base. So there's kind of a lot of unique aspects to it. And as expected for a unique map that performs really well, yes, it is Voice of Akasha. so, yeah, so here both players chose, what's his name? Javier. So the nice thing about Javier, the comm towers are very easy to capture. You capture them early. They're pretty safe. The only way that they get stolen from you is if this entire base falls, which can happen. But usually, if you lose a base, you oftentimes you lose the game. So it's difficult to trade evenly when you lose bases. So if you're gonna lose this comm tower, then you're probably losing somewhere else. Like you probably the reason you lost probably isn't because the comm tower is gone. It's probably because you were lost to begin with. But and I guess the one restriction it does put on you is like it does force you to build up more on this base, or alternatively trade comm towers by like ganging up on this one base. So it restricts a little bit the number of attacking tactics you can do without immediately losing if you get into the base trade scenario. So just something to keep in mind. I don't know if it becomes an issue in this game. So yeah, let's get into the match then. Yep. So obvious moves first. I think that this move with the infantry is sometimes not obvious. So if you capture immediately, or maybe go up this way and go for this chain here into potentially here. Although I think this city almost always belongs to this base unless something really funky happens, like with an artillery. Okay, interesting. So very, very early APC by Jokas. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does with it. My guess is I think going towards the middle seems like a pretty good idea, because setting up in the middle on this map can be really beneficial. It gives you a lot of opportunity to decide what you want to do as opposed to just react. Okay, so Starflash mirrors with an APC. Yeah, and as I talked about in the last video too, like I think Jokos is definitely known for having a unique style in his openings. So if he's going for something like kind of crazy and out there, uh, if it's a ditto, like if both players are playing the same CO, you're not losing much by like by mirroring. You're probably fine if that's what you want to do. Or you can be cool like me and just try something and lose. Okay, so here's the trick with the APC. You load here, boost this property, which is oftentimes pretty difficult to capture. And then you boost the infantry from this city here, which accelerates this capture. So that's already like at least 3 turns or something of acceleration. So that's already paid for itself, the APC, provided that you capture this city, which could be interrupted by the tank. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so going for a tank, I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and artillery does not get there in time, and it's also Javier versus Javier, so artillery are not very strong units. Well, I guess they're strongish, but they're just less strong. So Star Flash mirrors, as we said, does the boring thing. Okay, and then more tanks come out. Yeah, on this map, if you're not, I mean, artillery can be good. Definitely in a lot of matchups, you see a fair amount of artillery, um, especially around the edges. But yeah, Javier mirror tanks make a lot of sense. There's actually the opportunity for this APC to block for this capture, which is, I think, probably worth it from a financial perspective. Yeah, and that's exactly what Jokos does. Okay, nice interrupt by Starflash here onto this capture, although they're going to eat a tank shot for it. Um, and yeah, as I've said earlier, this series, like just once again, it's fine to have your tanks traded into if they initiate. Like in this scenario, we can look at just how much this property is going to get delayed, just to give you an idea of like why it's efficient to have this trade happen. So it'll look like this. So there's here, and then we'll unweight all, and then Jokos will go like this. I don't know. It's probably 5, 8, 5 or something. So that's 1 turn delayed. And then I don't know, maybe this guy was over here. Now Starflash is like, okay, I don't know. I want to capture this. Let's say there was like a tank here. Like I want to force the issue and capture this way. So you can do this, capture this guy we've been like skipping turns for, but like maybe he's over here and he can interrupt. Like by delaying this capture, there's more and more opportunities for Green Earth to interrupt later on, and like just the difference in value from an 8-5 split is 3 times 700 is 2100. So just value wise, you're only losing like 100 gold by attacking the city and delaying it just 1 turn. So if you can delay it 2 turns, you've like paid for the difference in tank HP twice over. Okay, so yeah, Starflash does the pro move by doing that. So Jokas does something interesting here by attacking the APC. Um, it's pretty safe because this tank is backed up by this other tank, and kind of puts some pressure on this part of the map because like this tank is kind of overrun by two tanks. This tank is about to get first struck, presumably. So Starflash is strangely looking kind of weak on his two base front. Two base side. I guess it's multiple fronts. Okay, actually, Jokas does something I didn't expect, which is join cap there. Um, this makes perfect sense because it only delays the city one turn, and from here you're definitely gonna capture it. So this is like, yeah, that excellent move by Jokas here, noticing that, which I did not. And that also frees up this tank to go do tank things somewhere else. Okay, so so actually Starflash opts to get aggressive with this tank here, which I think is a mistake because now the tank comes down here and then the trade is in Jogos's favor while he captures this, no problem. Yeah, I don't see how this isn't just losing value for Starflash. Unless he's about to reinforce it with this tank. But there's already a chain of tanks from Jokos larger than Starflash's chain of tanks. I mean, I guess if you're streaming tanks out of both bases evenly, um, hmm. Seems like Jokos can hit here and hit here, and then Starflash's one tank can't react to both. This tank can interrupt this cap. Yeah, I think that if Starflash had it, the Starflash is actually floating 22k. So it looks like tank, medium tank. Okay, yeah, this infantry definitely feels like it needs to be a tank here, but we'll see what happens. Just like floating 8k in high funds just feels like it's unnecessary. Yeah, and Jokas doesn't have to take this engagement either. It's just I get it's not even that winning now that I think about it because the defenses are so high. Oh, I see. So there's actually a tank down here that can come up and strike. Okay, so this is pretty complicated. Like, there's a lot going on. If Jokos can hit CO power this turn, that would potentially be really good. Um, so yeah, if Jokos hits CO power, then he can basically like first strike a lot of these tanks and not take much damage back. So maybe he'll go for CO power. Let's see what happens. Okay, that doesn't kill. Let's take a look at the Let's take a look at if Jokos was looking for a kill here. Oh, I see. So it would actually be a very low chance of a kill. So this is really just for interrupt, but it makes me wonder if Jokos could have traded tank onto tank, tank onto tank, and then CO powered. Maybe he's looking for like the ultra strong CO power to just win him the game. Well, that trade looks like he's gonna CO power right now. Okay, yeah, feels like he did this in the wrong order. Um, but I mean, ordering aside, I mean, the one reason I bring that up is because if he would have CO powered first, then he would have killed his infantry, brought the tank from the city onto the tank, and now like Starflash is completely crushed. Like just a little bit of HP difference here doesn't make that big of a difference, I think. Okay, so now Starflash to move, and he just took a bunch of losses. You can just look at the army value. I mean, it's only tank versus tank right now, and Starflash is down 3K, and it's like a 4.5K income. Um, so yeah, down a bit in value here. Okay, so here's Starflash's Tower Shield, and one thing about Javier mirrors and about a lot of mirrors that kind of work the same way. If both players have defensive boosting powers, and that's kind of the main point, um, it's like whoever gets the first one kind of gets the better deal, because like they're able to initiate and kind of like stick their like step forward very strongly, and then if the opponent decides to power back at them, it's like really hard to take any ground, because of the defense. And then it's like now they have another defensive turn they're while the guy that goes first doesn't have a power anymore, and it's like it doesn't really matter. You can just kind of like shore up on your defensive forward step, and then you're better than you were prior to both players using the power. So I think when it comes to defensive powers, the first person to power gets a theoretical advantage there. So this is the power turn for Starflash. Okay, so it's a good power. I'd say Jokos is feeling hurt a bit in this region where he has three tanks that are wounded. It's kind of hard to deal with that, but there is the benefit that Jokos gets both cities after this and has a fair amount of reinforcements to this part of the map, so I think he'll turn out okay. Okay, kills off that tank, which is really nice. And then all these tanks up here are kind of acting as blockers for this full HP tank. Okay, yeah, I would say that looks really great from Jokos. finding ways to kill off full HP tanks when he had a bunch of wounded tanks. That's not always easy to do. And then this position down here, there's like three healthy tanks and a neo tank kind of blocking this area off, which looks great. Jogos just needs to find a way to activate these four tanks up here, get them into the fight, and if he does, I think that he's looking like he's in a great position. You can see his unit count is up after the trade, and his army value is decently far up after the trade. He's also winning a. He's also like holding an 8K income advantage, which is pretty phenomenal. And he's actually looking to. No, it looks like it'll stabilize at about that, depending on how things go. Okay, yeah, and continuing to do the whole medium tank, and then neo tank builds here. Interesting to note that neither player like finds any reason to build an artillery so far, and it's pretty deep in the game. Okay, so first thing I see here is medium tank next to a city, and Jokos is near his CO power. So I kind of feel like there could be sparks this turn. Okay, uneven trade, uneven trade. So Jogos is going for CO power and gets it perfectly. Really good calcs on his point. Like he got it to the he got power to the decimal place. Like exactly power, which is pretty impressive. And then here comes Tower Shield. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be exactly that. So the two tanks clear the infantry. And look how he actually uses two really healthy tanks to do that instead of kind of being greedy and going for an infantry trying to clear that. I don't know if the rule works out, but if like the numbers work out, but just like using two tanks to clear an infantry is usually considered overkill. But considering how strong this move is right here, like that is completely worth like a little bit of inefficiency just to make absolute sure that it works. Look, he's even gonna get a property out of it, I think. I guess the medium tank can interrupt, but yeah. And so then, I mean, Jokos could even retreat completely on this part of the map just to give these tanks nothing to shoot at. Okay, and then so yeah, Jokos up 770k. I guess like 63k unit value, and Starflash has almost nothing to shoot at, so this might be resignable. Yeah. Indeed. So yeah, GG, quick game, I would say. I think that I don't know, the narrative that I was kind of going for at the beginning, just talking about, playing fast versus playing like very carefully. I think that this exactly illustrates the kind of benefit that you can gain from playing carefully. Um, Jokos really didn't make any major mistakes that I could tell at all. Um, he noticed the opportunities given to him. And I didn't really talk about the play around the edges. Like this map always confuses me about like who's ahead in terms of income, because it can be hard to figure out like where you're ahead or why you're ahead or behind. Um, but yeah, Jokas just doing a great job here of like not only trading and doing the fights efficiently, but also through all of it enjoying like a pretty big income lead. So yeah, I it just I don't know, games like this, it kind of makes you go like, if you get outplayed like this, it's like, why do I even bother sometimes if I only have so many hours to, work on my turns in a week? It's like, if you're gonna have turns like this, it's like, well, maybe I should just go back and play one game, one game per, uh, one Global League match at a time. So yeah, I mean, just like one of these kind of classic, um, really pretty games from Jokos, and Starflash definitely putting up a fight and like finding some great attacks and tactics and like no major flaws that I saw. But I think this is just Jokos finding the pretty move every turn, and just kind of it definitely shows. So yeah, GG to both these players. It's so fun to watch both of them play. So um, yeah, here's to looking forward to many more top level games from these guys. So yeah, so that's it for the 1400s. Now drum roll, please. There's actually 1500s too. So yeah, tune in next time for that match.